Number 10 to 1963 Ford Galaxie 500 R-Code Lightweight. The 1963 Ford Galaxie 500 R-Code Lightweight was one of the earliest examples of Ford's unrelenting pursuit of drag strip domination during the muscle car wars. Born out of a direct need to compete with Chevrolet and Chrysler's high-powered racers, the Galaxie R-Code was stripped down to the essentials. Everything unnecessary for speed was discarded. Ford engineers replaced heavy steel parts with fiberglass panels, aluminum bumpers, and lightweight components, shaving off several hundred pounds from its full-size body. Under its long hood roared the fearsome 427 cubic inch V8 engine with dual 4-barrel carburetors, delivering an underrated 425 horsepower and nearly 480 lb-ft of torque. When paired with a closed-ratio 4-speed manual transmission and 4.11 rear gears, the Galaxie 500 R-Code could cover the quarter mile in a low 12-second range, a shocking feat for a car of its size in 1963. Its thunderous exhaust note, straight-line ferocity, and sheer intimidation made it a regular at drag strips across America. This was not a luxury cruiser. It was a factory-built weapon, designed purely to win. Each model was hand-assembled with racing in mind, making it one of the rarest and most celebrated Galaxies ever produced, a symbol of Ford's early commitment to performance supremacy. Number 9 to 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. If there was ever a car that embodied the phrase street-legal dragster, it was a 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. This car wasn't just fast, it was terrifyingly fast. Built by Ford Experimental Vehicle Division with a focus on NHRA Superstock racing, the Thunderbolt combined a lightweight mid-size Fairlane body with Ford's biggest, baddest engine at the time, the 427 cubic inch high riser V8, producing a conservative 425 horsepower. Though many claim it exceeded 500 in reality, the Thunderbolt was capable of hitting 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds and completing a quarter mile in the mid-11-second range. Ford produced only 100 of these cars to satisfy racing homologation rules, and each was stripped of every ounce of luxury. No radio, no heater, and even thin, lightweight side glass. Fiberglass replaced steel in the doors, hood, and front fenders. The front bumper was aluminum, and the rear seat was optional. Inside, it was pure business, Spartan, raw, and ready for the drag strip. The Thunderbolt dominated NHRA events in 1964, crushing competition from Mopar and GM, and forever cemented its legacy as one of Ford's most ferocious creations. Its combination of power, weight reduction, and limited production make it one of the most desirable and historically significant muscle cars ever built. Number 8 to 1965 Shelby Mustang GT350. The 1965 Shelby GT350 was not just a faster Mustang. It was a transformation of a humble pony car into a street-legal race machine. Carroll Shelby, already famous for his Cobra roadsters, took the Mustang's 289 cubic inch K-Code V8 and tuned it to produce around 306 horsepower. Thanks to high-rise intake manifolds, a Holley 715 CFM carburetor, and free-flowing exhausts. While those numbers may seem modest next to the massive big-block monsters of the era, the GT350 was all about balance, lightness, and handling. Weighing just over 2,800 pounds, it could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds. But what made it remarkable was its ability to corner, brake, and respond like a pure race car. Shelby removed rear seats, added Coney shocks, quick ratio steering, stiffer suspension, and side exit exhaust that made it scream like a track-ready racer. It became a dominant force in SCCA racing, winning the B-Production Championship 3 years in a row. The GT350 blurred the line between road and race, introducing an entirely new performance philosophy that went beyond straight-line speed. It represented the birth of the true American sports muscle car, a car that could turn, stop, and accelerate with equal precision. Number 7 to 1967 Shelby GT500. 2 years after the GT350, Ford and Shelby took things to the next level with the 1967 Shelby GT500, a brutal, big-block monster that embodied American muscle at its peak. Beneath its elongated hood sat a massive 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8, producing 355 horsepower and 420 lb-ft of torque. But those were conservative factory numbers. true output was closer to 400 horsepower, enough to propel the car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.7 seconds. The GT500 wasn't just about raw speed, it was about dominance. With dual 4-barrel carburetors, heavy-duty suspension, front disc brakes, and a reinforced frame, it offered both high performance and everyday drivability. Its design, with dual racing stripes, functional hood scoops, and aggressive stance, made it instantly recognizable and unforgettable. The GT500 was a masterpiece of both engineering and charisma, combining brute power with iconic styling that made it one of the most collectible Fords ever made. It marked a turning point in the muscle car era, where style and sophistication met untamed force, creating a machine that defined the spirit of 1960s performance culture. Number 6 to 1968 Ford Mustang GT390 Bullet. The 1968 Ford Mustang GT390 achieved immortality when Steve McQueen drove it through the streets of San Francisco in the movie Bullet. But even without Hollywood magic, the car was an absolute powerhouse. Under the hood was a 390 cubic inch FE V8 producing 325 horsepower and 427 lb-ft of torque, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. What made the GT390 special wasn't just its acceleration, it was the way it delivered it, with a deep, raw, mechanical roar that sent chills down the spine. Capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.5 seconds, the GT390 brought true muscle performance to the masses while maintaining the iconic Mustang look. It was heavier and more refined than earlier Mustangs, yet it had an undeniable street racer soul. Its minimalist Highland green paint, debadged grille, and simple design reflected a no-nonsense approach to performance. On winding roads or open highways, the GT390 was all about pure, visceral driving, powerful, controllable, and absolutely exhilarating. It remains one of Ford's most beloved performance cars, blending Hollywood coolness with real-world muscle. Number 5 to 1969 Ford Torino Cobra 428 Cobra Jet. The 1969 Ford Torino Cobra was one of the most underrated beasts to ever wear a Ford badge, a car that perfectly balanced muscle and refinement in an era obsessed with raw speed. While it shared DNA with the Fairlane, the Torino Cobra took things to a new level of sophistication and aggression. At its heart lay the 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8, one of the most fearsome engines Ford had ever created. Officially rated at 335 horsepower, the Cobra Jet's true output was closer to 400, thanks to its large-bore Holley carburetor, high-flow cylinder heads, and a functional ram air intake that fed cold air straight into its lungs. The result was an explosion of torque, 440 lb-ft of it, that could launch the Torino from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just under 6 seconds, with quarter-mile times hovering in the low 14ths. But what made the Torino Cobra special wasn't just its straight-line speed. It was a balance of performance and style. With sleek fastback lines, a functional hood scoop, and wide stance, it looked menacing without being flamboyant. Inside, Ford offered bucket seats, a sports dash, and options like a closed ratio 4-speed gearbox or an automatic with a floor shifter, allowing both street and strip enthusiasts to tailor their weapon of choice. Though it didn't achieve the same cultural fame as the Mustang, the Torino Cobra stood tall as one of the most well-rounded and capable performance cars of its generation, proving that Ford could blend brute power with everyday comfort. Today, it stands as a forgotten legend, a muscle car that quietly outperformed many of its flashier rivals. Number 4 to 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1 428 Cobra Jet. When the Mach 1 debuted in 1969, it wasn't just another Mustang. It was a revolution in Ford performance lineup, created to merge the car's sporty appeal with serious muscle credentials. The Mach 1 came with multiple engine options, but the true centerpiece was the 428 Cobra Jet V8, a monster that pushed the boundaries of what a factory car could achieve. With its shaker hood scoop trembling under full throttle, the engine produced a rated 335 horsepower, though real-world figures reached closer to 410 horsepower and 440 lb-ft of torque. Equipped with a 4-speed manual and 3.91 or 4.30 rear gears, it could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds and tear to the quarter mile in a high 13-second range. The Mach 1 wasn't just fast, it was stylishly aggressive. with black hood stripes, simulated scoops, and chrome accents that scream performance. Inside, drivers were treated to high-back bucket seats, wood grain trim, and performance gauges that made it feel like a cockpit rather than a cabin. Ford even gave improved aerodynamics and suspension tuning, making it surprisingly composed at high speeds. What truly made the Mach 1 a legend was its versatility. It could win at the drag strip on Saturday and cruise comfortably on Sunday. It symbolized a perfect middle ground between raw performance and refinement, and its blend of beauty and brawn made it one of the definitive muscle cars of the 1960s. Number 3 to 1969 Boss 429 Mustang. The 1969 Boss 429 was more than just a muscle car. It was Ford's engineering masterpiece, a purpose-built homologation special designed to bring the legendary 429 engine into NASCAR competition. To make room for the enormous semi-hemispherical 429 cubic inch V8, Ford had to heavily modify the Mustang's engine bay, which was done by Carcraft, Ford's specialty division in Michigan. The engine was officially rated at 375 horsepower, but that figure was laughably conservative. Real output exceeded 500 horsepower at high RPMs. With forged internals, an aluminum intake manifold, and large pour heads, the Boss 429 was a racing engine barely disguised as street. Its performance was ferocious, 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 5.3 seconds, and a top speed nearing 130 miles per hour. Impressive figures for a car with street tires and 1960s aerodynamics. Beyond the numbers, the Boss 429 was rare and intimidating. Only 859 were built in 1969, each hand-assembled and individually tuned. The car came standard with a 4-speed manual gearbox, competition suspension, and massive front disc brakes. Its understated exterior, often finished in Wimbledon white or raven black, contrasted beautifully with the sheer violence of what lay beneath the hood. The Boss 429 wasn't built for everyone. It was a collector's car from the moment it was released, designed for those who understood what it represented. A machine born from Ford's determination to dominate NASCAR and prove its engineering superiority. It remains one of the most valuable and revered Mustangs ever produced. Number 2 to 1966 Ford GT40 MK2. While not a traditional muscle car in the street sense, the 1966 Ford GT40 MK2 redefined what American performance could achieve, making it the most powerful and victorious Ford of the 1960s. Built as part of Henry Ford II's revenge mission to defeat Ferrari at Le Mans, the GT40 was engineered with one purpose: to win. Beneath its aerodynamic, low-slung body was the same 427 cubic inch V8 used in the Galaxie, tuned for endurance racing with more than 485 horsepower. Its lightweight frame and mid-engine layout gave it balance and stability that American cars had rarely achieved before. The GT40 MK2 dominated the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1966, famously taking first, second, and third place in a historic sweep that humiliated Ferrari and solidified Ford's legacy on the global racing stage. On the track, it exceeded 200 miles per hour, numbers unthinkable for time, and its combination of power, endurance, and design made it one of the most important performance machines ever built. The GT40 wasn't just about speed. It represented a philosophical shift. It proved that American engineering could rival and surpass Europe's best, combining brute power with refined aerodynamics and precision. Though it was technically a race car, its influence on Ford's street performance program was monumental, inspiring the Mustang, the Shelby series, and every GT model that followed. The GT40 MK2 was more than a car. It was a symbol of American determination and mechanical brilliance. Number 1 to 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt, revisited for supremacy. Standing at the very top of Ford's 1960s muscle hierarchy, the 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt deserves another mention, not merely as a drag car, but as the ultimate expression of Ford's no-compromise approach to speed. The Thunderbolt was not built for comfort, not built for beauty. It was built to win. Only 100 were ever made, each hand-assembled with surgical precision. Its high-riser 427 V8 was a marvel of 1960s engineering, featuring a high-rise intake manifold, aluminum heads, and dual Holley 4-barrel carburetors that gave an explosive 500-plus horsepower. The Thunderbolt could obliterate the quarter mile in 11.5 seconds on slicks, astonishing in 1964, and routinely humbled factory competition from Chrysler's Hemis and Chevrolet's 409s. The car's stripped-down interior featured little more than a driver's seat, a tachometer, and a shifter. It was a tool, not a toy. Externally, its lightweight fiberglass body panels, scooped hood, and aluminum bumpers gave an aggressive, almost sinister appearance. The Thunderbolt's legend grew as it dominated NHRA superstock events and forced other automakers to respond with their own drag-tune specials. But none matched the Thunderbolt's brutal purity. It was Ford's sledgehammer to the racing world, a statement that horsepower and engineering could coexist in a production car. To this day, the Thunderbolt remains a holy grail for collectors, not just for its rarity, but for what it represents. The height of Ford's 1960s muscle car dominance and the purest expression of power Detroit ever put on four wheels.